Welcome to this week. We're talking about leadership in the early childhood classroom, and that also includes taking care of ourselves. We can't be very effective teachers or supporters of children if we're exhausted. First, we're going to talk a little bit about leadership communication. So a big piece is often to start by asking questions and to really let families lead at times on things that they feel are going well or concerns that they may have. Part of that careful listening is being able to ask appropriate questions back and reflect back to them what you're hearing. And so it can be in the form of repeating back part of what they said or asking, did I hear you correctly? Is this what your concern is? There's a wonderful video we're going to watch this week that goes into more details for this. Another is sometimes called a compliment sandwich, but I prefer to call it PEP or pep talks. We know that we need to focus more on strengths for ourselves or for the children we work with than on areas that are maybe weaknesses, or I like to call areas that need more encouragement or more development. So when we're talking with a family about their child, or when we're thinking about things that we can even do better ourselves, it's best to start with the positive. That's the P. The first P is positive, and then an area to encourage. And sometimes it might feel like there's lots of things happening, but usually it's just one area, and it might be related to controlling emotions or keeping hands to themselves. Even though it seems like there's many things happening, try to figure out the one area that kind of encompasses that and focus on that. But then we again want to focus more on strengths or potential strength areas. It feels pretty rotten, as we all know, if someone starts right in about what the problem or concern is. And we know that we do best as adults or as children when someone recognizes our strengths or the things that are really special about us. So some people call this compliment sandwiches. I prefer to call it a pep or a pep talk. But just remember, we want to focus way more on positives than on areas that are maybe areas of concern. And then all the different various methods and frequencies that we can communicate. So starting with positives when we're working with families, talking or saying good morning just face to face, doing newsletters or daily journals, sometimes keeping a little notepad going back and forth if there's something we're working on with a family. Having family events, certainly parent-teacher conferences, but we want to be in communication and really about a lot of positive things and collaborative things as much as possible. One area to be a strong leader with students is through true encouragement. So encouragement is actually noticing things that they might be doing. It really supports their intrinsic motivation. It gives very specific feedback, whereas praise is a bit more vague, great job, super, beautiful work. And it's saying, hey, I approve. So part of that, if I'm saying great work, is you're waiting for my approval. And really, we're just wanting to encourage their natural growth and their natural inclination to do things. So think about using encouragement more often, being specific, maybe touching on, oh, I notice you're using big colors there. Let's say they're making a picture. Or look at all the people that you drew. Tell me more, right? And so you're letting them know that you're interested. It's not a judgment. It's not, oh, that looks beautiful, or maybe you should do that differently. It's really just noticing, hard work. Oh, you're working so hard, right? So we want to stay away from praise as much as possible and move towards encouragement. One thing that's often forgotten for all of us is that it's really, really important to take care of ourselves. So part of leadership is also self-care. And there's a lot of reasons for this. There's a high teacher turnover rate, meaning lots of people don't stay in the profession real long because it's so exhausting, right? And so if we do a little bit better job of work hard when we're at work, but then make sure that we have time for ourselves and to take care of ourselves, that's going to prevent what we call sometimes burnout, where we're just so exhausted we can't do it anymore. Also, if students are coming to us and let's say they're having a really traumatic time at home or a lot of difficulty, we can experience that stress. So you might have heard of post-traumatic stress disorder. There's secondary traumatic stress that happens from hearing all of those stories as well. So we need to figure out a way, who is someone else that we can talk to. That might be a trusted friend, a family member, a clergy, a counselor, and being able to leave work at work once you work hard. So it can be exhausting doing such loving, important, kind work, and we want to make sure that you stick around for a long time and aren't wanting to leave, right? Another part of self-care is catching us when we have negative thoughts. So we talked about ABC, if you remember, monitoring the antecedent, so what happened before a student's behavior, and then what their behavior was and what the consequence was. That's ABC. We're trying to figure out what's either creating or maintaining a behavior. But if we're trying to catch our own negative thoughts, it means something a little different. So the antecedent is what happened. The B is what I believe about what happened. This is most important, right? Let's say I got a bad grade on an assignment. So the antecedent is, I got that assignment. My belief is what's going to matter. So if the belief is, I didn't put in a lot of effort, or maybe I can talk with the teacher and do something about this, that's very different than if my belief is, right, I'm a failure, I stink, I'm no good at this. And that's going to have all the consequences, right? Because if I believe I'm no good and I stink, the consequence is I'm not really going to try hard, right? I might actually quit. But if my belief is, I didn't put in that much effort, or I think if I ask the teacher for some help, I could do better, the consequence is going to be that I'm likely going to do better and I'm going to keep trying. So if I catch myself having a real negative catastrophizing belief, right? Like, this is never going to get any better, or I'm never going to do better at this. The D stands for disputation. You want to catch yourself when you have those kind of negative catastrophizing thoughts, and you want to dispute it. You want to say that's ridiculous. Lots of times when I put in the effort, I do great. When I have the time, when I put in the time I need, I do very well. So I'm disputing my negative thoughts. And then energization means, what am I going to do about it? Okay, you're right. I'm going to dispute my belief. It's not really true that I'm going to fail and that I'm always failing. I know that's not true. So what am I going to do? How am I going to energize that? Maybe I'm going to send an email to my teacher right now. So we want to reframe ourselves when we start having overwhelming negative thoughts about our ability, maybe about how a student's going to do. We can imagine, if I believe a student's always going to struggle or that they're always in trouble, how negative that is, and I'm not going to be very motivated to do anything to change it for them either. And so we want to catch ourselves, dispute our beliefs when they're like that, and then energize our new beliefs by doing something. Self-care can be physical. So am I getting enough sleep? It's really, really critical. Many things will start falling apart if I don't get enough sleep. And I know you've heard that before, but it's really true. So if you know that you're not getting, minimum of 7, but 8, 9, 10 hours a night of good sleep, that can be the very first thing we do. How am I eating? Right? How am I taking care of myself physically? Social, emotional. Do I have family members, friends? Do I have other teachers? Remember those MTSS teams? I want to team up with other teachers, and not just any teachers, but teachers that are positive and uplifting and wanting to do their best as well. What can I do to take care of my emotions? That could be journaling, that could be meditating, that could be doing yoga, that could be long walks. And then taking care of our spirit. So sometimes that is nature as well, or art. That might also be religion or spirituality or meditation. But we need to think about all those different aspects of self-care, and that's going to be a part of your assignment this week. So in addition to watching each other's presentations on the social emotional curriculum, please take notes. Think about particular things you'd like to take away or use that you liked from those different curriculums. That's going to be your discussion this week, are what are 2 or 3 different presenters. Make sure to list their name and their social emotional curriculum that they used, and what's something that you want to take away that you really liked that they shared. The other bigger assignment, in addition to listening to your coworkers, or your co-students rather, is going to take care of yourself. So your big assignment for this week is actually a little one. I want you to think of one thing you're going to work on for this week. That might be doing some art if you haven't given yourself time. That might be getting to bed at 9:30 p.m. and shutting off all electronics and listening to a meditation CD. That might be taking a bath and reading a good book. So I want you to think about what's something that could take care of yourself. That can be physical, social, emotional, spiritual. What are things that you can do? So you're going to pick something and just do something nice for yourself. So it's meant to be a lighter week. It's meant to remind us as well, you've got a couple months left of this school year, and I wanted to build that in as an assignment because a lot of times we don't take care of ourselves. So it's your official assignment for this week is to do something, and you've probably heard of SMART goals before, but it should be specific. So not, oh, I'm going to take better care of myself physically, but you want to say, I'm going to make a healthy breakfast each morning, right? Is it measurable? So yeah. Did you do it? Is it something you were doing each day or maybe a couple times during the week you want to do a long walk? Is it attainable? So pick something. It's the opposite of stressing you out. Pick something that is going to make you happy, hopefully, and something that maybe you haven't built in time for or haven't focused on in a while. And is it realistic? And is it time bound? It's time bound this week. It's something that you're going to do before the week is up. So that's your assignment for the week, is to do something for your own self-care. I look forward to talking again and hearing about your presentations.